Hey guys, it's Jen. Alright, so today's Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. And I have my usual daily all together. A day in the life of dealing with Morgellons or Morgellons or nanobots. Yeah, so I was hoping I would be courageous enough to do this on a live stream, but I am not. This is absolutely the hardest video I have ever recorded. To anyone who is new here, my name is Jen. I'm speaking softly because I'm staying with someone right now and there are people here, so I don't want people to hear my conversation about, a condition which, according to 50% of the medical community, is non-existent, and the people claiming to suffer from Morgellons have delusional parasitosis, hallucinations. The other 50% agree that it is a valid parasitic inflammatory infection caused by a spiral-shaped fiber related to the same family species as is the tick and Lyme disease. Well, I started experiencing this rare anomaly October of 2019. I had just moved into a house that is owned by the Housing Authority. It's a Section 8 property, as I was single and homeless. And after I moved in, I started getting this breakout all over my body and these intense episodes of itching and burning and stinging, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I couldn't find any bugs. I went through the entire house, top to bottom, scrubbing, vacuuming, washing whatever I could fit in the washer and dryer, bombing, using bed bug spray, lice spray, treating myself with permethrin, and 3 trips to the emergency room over these last, almost a year now, and 1 trip to a dermatologist, and I still don't have an answer. But I have suffered day in and day out throughout this parasite's many different stages of life cycles and the aging processes, and we'll get into that. This video, let me just say, I started this YouTube channel about 2 years ago after I was guided to try to find a platform which would allow me a big audience that I could share a message and be able to do it in a short amount of time. And I am not your typical YouTube personality. I'm not, like whatever they say, photogenic or whatever, photogenic. That's kind of cool, actually. Might have to use that in something. Anyways, let's get back. Let's keep this centered on one topic, and that is the debate. Morgellons or Morgellons. Does it exist or not? It's one or the other, right? Right. So I'm going to present this video. I am going to share my personal experience. And then any research and facts and things that I have found over this last 10 months that I have suffered with this whatever it is, parasitic infection, and have no answers, receive no support. I have no resources and barely any access to any health care to receive any. Fun times. Okay, so I moved into the house September 2019. As of October, I started breaking out in what I thought was hives. Then after asking some people and then looking online, I researched different parasites, mites, dust mites, mold mites, bed bugs, fleas, ticks, yada, yada, yada. And treated for everything I could think of, did the best that I could, and it just wasn't going away and it wasn't getting better. And I'm thinking, what more can I do here? Strip my skin off and strip my house bare down to the frame? Because I'm a clean freak. Like, I'm meticulous about things. And I practice good personal hygiene and things like that. So I couldn't understand. It just wasn't making sense. Like, what the is this? Well, for the first 3 months, we'll cover 3 months at a time, it went from intense itching as if it was scabies. I mean, there were red rashes between my fingers, where my knuckles are, my wrists, which you can still see they're there today, in the folds of my neck, temples, all over my scalp, down the back, my butt crack, even ankles, behind my knees. I mean, anywhere that there's a soft padded area on your body of skin. That's a lot. Folds of your nose, your eyelids, under your eyes, lips, neck, ears, behind, cleavage for the ladies, like your butt cheeks, genitals, in between toes. There's a lot of places. Well, I kept feeling like, all right, it's itching and I feel this stinging, biting all the time. So it's got to be something biting me or stinging me. And I'm looking up mites and ticks and nematodes and this and that and smart dust. And I mean, it's taking me on these, down these rabbit holes. And I am so desperate just for a lead, just to be pointed in the right direction so I can, if I knew what I'm dealing with, if I know what I'm up against, then I can formulate a treatment plan or a plan of attack. I couldn't get anything, so I'm going in blind. And every day it's hours of vacuuming and dusting and washing and tweezing and scrubbing and exfoliating and combing and using lice combs and using treatments and letting serums sit, and I have tried everything, natural, chemical, and every aspect in between, from borax to tea tree oil to even rife frequencies and electromagnetic therapy like scalar field therapies and alkaline diet and Dawn dish soap, Noxzema, aloe, coconut oil, the sulfur. The only thing I have yet to try, and nothing, by the way, has cured it. There are some things that ease the suffering for a moment, but it always comes back. Always. And oddly enough, in the exact same place as it was prior to me getting it out. Like this little area right here, you know, that's where one burrowed, one what? Somebody in the medical community, you tell me. Because I am not hallucinating that. And I haven't hallucinated the last 10 months of my life that I've shared publicly on camera. Welts here and all. Not hallucinating. Not hallucinating this. And trip number 2 to the emergency room, I left at 2 a.m. in tears, walking home, turned away by an emergency room physician who claimed he couldn't see anything with his naked eye, of course, because he wouldn't even get a scope and come near me. But he did, happen to mention, I see that your medical records here say that you suffer from bipolar disorder. Ding. I knew exactly where that was going. We think you should speak with a crisis counselor. You may need therapy. Why is that, sir? Well, sometimes with mania and anxiety, these conditions can present themselves physically as a physical manifestation of the anxiety and stress inside. Oh, and it physically manifests and bites you and stings you and crawls or slithers or burrows or moves or whatever it is. It does that too? Oh, I must have hallucinated that too. All right. So yeah, if I wanted to pull some scam off and concoct this whole big story of, oh, I have this rare condition and look at me, attention, drama, then that probably would have lasted all of 1 month for me. And if nothing would have came from it, I would have been like, that didn't work and been over it. But going on a year, facing a camera publicly, sharing my story and experience publicly, worldwide, not seeking any kind of retaliation or retribution or anything, on the medical community or local, state, federal government for not doing their jobs. Social Security, health and well-being, human rights, civil rights. life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Freedom. I have none of these because I live in a prison every day. It's called Morgellons disease. And these are hair-like fibers and filaments, some white, some dark brown, some red, some brassy gold I've even seen. They don't burn the same way. If you take a strand of your hair and burn it with a lighter, it stinks like hair and it hurries up and melts and coils up. These don't do that. There's a fatty tissue-like substance. As if, this is a gross reference, but it's the best way I can describe it. Like when you have ham, and wherever the fat is, it's like gelatinous, okay? Squishy, fatty, blah. Anyways, somehow these, whatever they are, as they embed in your skin, burrow, and then travel, because they either come out of your pores or hair follicles. Some say they feed on the sebaceous glands, oil glands. So if you have big pores and oily skin, you're prone to have more of them. Yes. Because that's me. Yay. And, these, I must be hallucinating, delusional. Wacko. I did see a dermatologist finally last month or the month before, because at first I didn't go to the doctor right away because I assumed it was an average flea infestation or somehow, I don't know, I had a foster cat and I thought, okay, maybe ticks got in or who knows? I mean, I had furniture donated to me. I'd been homeless. I thought many possibilities and researched and explored them all and tried treatments for them all. And I journaled everything along the way so that I could bring it in, as well as collected samples to bring in case the doctor decided to send anything to the lab. I even brought a stool sample in. That was fun. But I thought, if these things, I don't know what they are, is like some kind of worm or tape, I don't know. I want them to take a sample because I want to know if they're not just on me, but in me, and my organs and everything. So I brought everything I could think of. And first time, emergency room, blah, blah, blah. I finally get him to just do something to help me. He wasn't really believing me in the early stages because you couldn't really visibly see anything, but I could feel it. And I just got to a point where, straight up honesty, I thought about killing myself. From the moment I wake up every day until I can find sleep, it's constant worrying that somebody's going to see something come out of my skin, or the tingling's going to start and something's going to move and I'll be in public, or, oh my God, I'm going to be around people, so I don't know if it's contagious or infectious, so I keep away from people on top of a quarantine. Yay. Anyway, so the second trip to the emergency room was the one I left crying. He wouldn't even see me. told me I should speak to a crisis counselor for therapy and maybe an antidepressant. No thanks. I've been prescribed a plethora since the age of 15. I'm good. I'm off of them 2+ years now. Great. See ya. Stay away from me. Third trip to the emergency room. And he says, well, did you see a dermatologist? I said, no, I can't. Every doctor in this region is closed because of CoronaCon. So they're only doing televisits, and you can't really take a skin sample over a screen to send to the lab. So I said, what am I supposed to do here? You know, the emergency room, a hospital in the United States of America in 2020 during a worldwide pandemic and quarantine should be able to help me. No, they did the same thing and prescribed me the Elamite full body permethrin cream to treat scabies and body lice and parasites like that. Same as with every other cream, ointment, lotion, spray, oil, chemical, herb, whatever I've tried, salt, sugar, scrub, anti-itch this. I got a momentary reprieve, few hours. And then it was right back again. Now, what I started noticing is these little tiny eyelash-sized hairs flying through the air, a layer of dust on every surface, constant vacuuming. And I would exfoliate, and by the end of the day, it's like a dude. Your 5 o'clock shadow's back, but you shaved that morning. Well, I'm not a dude, and I don't shave my face daily or anything, but I did, because these hairs look like an eyelash. But on one end is a little tiny ballpoint pen dot glue speck. Like their head is on one end, the end of them on the other, and there's a little glue spot there. So as they drift through the air, being carried by the wind, boop, and it happens to go right, it sticks to whatever it touches in its path of floating by, and then it embeds in your skin. How do I know this? I've watched it. And I felt it as it was happening, because that's the stinging. The moment it's like as if you're at the doctor and a needle goes, that initial needle prick, constant all over your body. And I watched this hair-like fiber land and just kind of writhe. And then it was gone. And then I'm looking, and I start seeing like goosebump line go up my arm. And I'm like, okay, I see what it's doing. Sound crazy, don't I? The doctors seem to think so. Because I finally, last month, after some places started opening little by little, I got to see a dermatologist finally. And I was so excited. I was so hopeful. I thought 10 months, or it was 9 months at the time. And I said, 9 months, and I finally get an answer. Woo-hoo-hoo! I was like, the dermatologist, they're the specialists. They can do the skin scraping. They could send it to the lab. Boom, I'll have an answer. Finally. I said, all I need is an answer, because then I can formulate a treatment plan to fight this. hopefully cure it. Well, I gave my history to the nurse in the exam room. I'm waiting on the doctor to come in, and I start itching. And I thought, oh, perfect timing, you little. Always when I have something to do or something's happening that it'll start and it'll be a tingling. And then that one signals, and then bling, 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 and like a grid, bing, 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 bing. They all start lighting up. So I have to basically scrub, comb, scrape, tweeze, pluck, pick, I don't know, massage, apply, and then rinse off, and do all these things to ease that constant itching, burning, suffering that is relentless and will eventually drive one straight to the loony bin if nothing is done. I can guarantee it. I'm literally shocked that I have not been there due to this. Anyways, so the dermatologist finally comes in as I'm standing there mortified because out of my peripheral vision, as I'm trying to nonchalantly scratch the chicken pox like itching, I can see like dandruff. It looks like dandruff flying out, but it's not dandruff. It's bits of that dried up gluey crap I was talking about that they layer to build like a fake patch of fatty skin, and then they burrow in it. So I'm going to try to get close to the camera so you can see here. Where I could still see. Above my eyebrow here. All this is fake skin. It's not even my skin. Like, that's not real skin. And this is not my eyebrow hair. But I'm hallucinating. So this dermatologist literally says to me, without even looking up close, without her herself asking me for my experience, you usually tell the nurse, they go tell the doctor, the patient is here for so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. The doctor comes in, and then they kind of want you to reiterate what you just said to the nurse. Why? I hate that process. It's like, I got to say it all over again. But that's how they do it. No, she didn't ask me anything. She came in and told me as I'm standing in the exam room, literally like this, because I'm embarrassed to death trying to explain. Well, I brought my research notes with me if you'd like to look at them, because it's a lot and sometimes I mix up my words. I'm so nervous, I'm sweating because I can see these things on the carpet. Like, I'm thinking, is this really happening? Or are these people, am I being punked right now? Am I in candid camera? Like, I thought somebody was playing a joke on me. A cruel one, but a joke. Because there's no way. And the nurse who had just taken my whole history prior to that had compassion for me as she sat there. I saw it. I felt it. And then the way that she would answer when I told her, well, the symptoms feel like blah, 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 blah. This is what I've researched. Here, these are the samples I brought. She heard my story and, oh, I can't believe. And she would come back with things that were like, oh, you poor thing. I don't know how you've made it this long. Those types of things. But when she came back in with this dermatologist who was telling me now that, ma'am, you don't have any bugs. Really? And I said, well, how do you know this? Hang on, guys. I just got a notification because 30 minutes. Sorry it's taken this long. This is the intro. Part 2, I take this off. And after I do, I won't need to say another word to convince anyone that this disease is a real thing. And thousands of people all over this world are suffering and being denied or disregarded their right to good health, well-being, and happiness. I'll be back as soon as this uploads. And then everyone will see. They'll see what I have to look at every single day. And anyone who has empathy out there will immediately understand the torture that this has been for almost a year for me. Some people, multiple years. I don't know how